This is Real News Media TV, coverage you can trust. Please like, share, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. Select all for daily news updates. 2 freed in Manchester businesswoman's murder case. 2 of the 3 people who were charged with murder in relation to last November's stabbing of 63-year-old businesswoman Marcia Chinyu were freed in court today. Shaquille Perkins, a carpenter of Woodlawn Crescent, and Zoe Forrest, a businesswoman of Oakland Drive, were freed following submissions by their attorneys in the Manchester Parish Court. However, Dwayne Brown, a security firm manager who is also Forrester's spouse, was granted bail in the sum of $800,000. He is to appear in the Manchester Circuit Court on January 26. Chinyu was found by neighbors with stab wounds on the night of November 26, 2020 in her motor car. The car was parked in the driveway of her home in the upscale Ingleside community in Mandeville. Forrest and Brown were represented by Queen's Counsel Peter Champagny. Perkins was represented by attorney-at-law Marcus Green. Phased reopening of schools commenced with minor issues. The phased reopening of schools has commenced for the 2021 and 2022 academic year, with the reopening of 248 of the 376 approved primary and infant schools across the 7 regions. This was disclosed by Minister of Education, Youth and Information Favour Williams during a statement to the House of Representatives on November 9. She said the reports from all regions indicate that the majority of schools opened without any issues. Those that experienced challenges were mostly as a result of heavy rains and flooding in Region 4, which consists of St. James, Hanover, and Westmoreland. One school, Planters Hall Primary, reported a lack of electricity, which impacted its water pumps and so had to push back its opening. Robbins Hall Primary School was also impacted by power outages, Williams noted. She pointed out that some schools experienced minor issues but nothing to stop them from opening and operating. In terms of attendance, the numbers varied across schools, ranging from 85% at King Weston Primary and Infant to 35% at Rock Hall Primary. We recognize that Monday was the first day of school after a very long time of being out, and so we expect the attendance to improve as the month progresses, Williams said, adding that the ministry is not leaving the attendance of schools to chance. Our Yard-to-Yard Find the Child initiative has been rolled out officially. Additionally, for the past 18 months, the regional support teams and the school-based support teams have been working to locate and re-engage our students, she added. This includes approximately 3,550 persons working directly on this task, 80 officers of the ministry, 200 school resource officers from the Jamaica Constabulary Force, and 3,271 school staff. Before the start of the 2021-2022 academic year, 25,642 of the 40,795 students who were absent for 100 days or more were located and re-engaged. We will not leave any child behind. We will be collecting data on a daily basis from our schools over the next 2 weeks to allow us to make an assessment of the opening of other schools. We will discuss the data on an ongoing basis with the Ministry of Health and Wellness as we are guided by them as to additional schools that will be allowed to open, Williams said. Why a government MP wants DNA paternity testing at birth. St. James Central Member of Parliament, Roy Clark, says he intends to bring to Parliament a motion calling for DNA paternity testing at birth. Making his contribution to the State of the Constituency debates in Parliament on Tuesday, Clark cited a study by university researcher Dr. Herbert Gill claiming that paternal issues contribute to Jamaica's high rate of domestic violence that leads to murders. The legislature did not detail the proposal for paternity test at birth or indicate when he will table the motion, but said there was merit in the early determination of fatherhood. This, Madam Speaker, I believe will stem a majority of the domestic violence in our society, he said. Yesterday, Clark also addressed the perennial concern of criminal violence in St. James. He hailed the imposition of states of public emergency in 2018 to help reduce homicides, but lashed the opposition for not supporting its extension. The call for the end of the state of emergency was ill-advised, Madam Speaker, and I beseech and implore the Prime Minister to find a way to put it back, said Clark. Clark's call comes a year after a landmark ruling by the Supreme Court that the months-long detention of 5 men without charge was unconstitutional under the State of Emergency Act. Meanwhile, Clark said crime has been significantly reduced in the parish of St. James Central. No decision made yet on extending Ruel Reid's special leave. Education Minister Favour Williams says no decision has been made on the issue of extending special leave with full salary and benefits to Ruel Reid, who still holds the post of principal of Jamaica College. The board of Jamaica College last month voted unanimously to send Mrs. Williams a list of recommendations for action. The board was expecting a response from the Education Minister by today, November 10. Asked for an update on the matter during Wednesday's post-cabinet media briefing, Mrs. Williams said all matters with regards to JC are still being deliberated on, and at this moment there are no decisions that we would like to make any announcement on. Mr. Reid is now before the courts on fraud charges, but continues to receive a salary from the St. Andrew-based high school from which he was seconded for national duties in 2016. Mr. Reid's special leave ends on November 20, however, he had requested on August 2 to have his leave extended. Policemen acquitted of 2010 murder of St. Thomas man. The 3 police officers who were implicated in the murder of a St. Thomas resident 11 years ago have now been acquitted following a ruling in the circuit court on Tuesday. The policemen were charged with murder and illegal possession of a firearm in relation to the killing of Dane Hope in 2010. When the matter came before the St. Thomas Circuit Court on Monday, Detective Constable Kevin Thomas and Constable Lascelles Dunkley pleaded not guilty to all charges. 2 civilian witnesses gave sworn evidence against them. On Tuesday, when the matter continued, the prosecution indicated that it was closing the case due to insufficient evidence. The 3rd policeman, Constable Moses Donald, was acquitted in 2017 after his attorney said there was no forensic evidence linking his client to the shooting and no eyewitness evidence. It was alleged that in May 2010, 7 police officers went to Mr. Hope's house in Norris to execute a warrant for shooting at the police. The police claimed that he pointed a firearm at them. They opened gunfire, hitting Mr. Hope, who was later pronounced dead at hospital. Man arrested following ganja bust in Santa Cruz charged. The man who was taken into custody following Tuesday's ganja bust on the Santa Cruz Main Road in St. Elizabeth has been charged. Sanjay Stewart, a 41-year-old truck driver of Burnt Savannah, St. Elizabeth, has been charged with possession of and dealing in ganja and taking steps to export ganja. The police were conducting operations when they signaled the driver of a Toyota Wish to stop. Ganja weighing 850 pounds with a street value of more than $3 million was allegedly found inside the vehicle. MP Chin says Manchester roadblock politically motivated. Jamaica Labour Party Member of Parliament for Manchester Southern Robert Chin has labelled today's mounting of roadblocks between Newport and Asia as premature and politically motivated. I can say categorically that it is premature and it seems to be very politically motivated because I have told them on many occasions that the road is scheduled to be patched out by the National Works Agency in another 2 weeks or so, he said. It is just unfortunate that people with their political agendas will carry out these acts in order to seek some relevance, he added. The roadblocks mounted by residents subsequently led to a strike by taxi operators who are calling for the urgent rehabilitation of the main road between Newport and Asia. Businesswoman Shireen Gentles told the news that scores of commuters were left stranded from as early as 6 a.m. due to the protest and the taxi strike. Chin has pointed out that the constituency was neglected for 3 decades. I have also told residents that that road is scheduled to be rehabilitated in the next financial year because after 31 years of neglect of the constituency, I could not do all the roads, he said. He said the work has started on priority roads in the constituency for this financial year to include the Buzzew Lane and Coco Walk roads. In very short order, rehabilitation work will be done on the Downs to Alligator Pond Road, he said. Newport to Pusey Hill is a priority road for next year. I just have to do what I can do with the resources that I get, so I am asking people to be patient as things are happening, he added. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. Select all for daily news updates.